All right, hello everybody, and welcome on back. We're just loading into our when login issues strike world, which I might come up with a better name for that. Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right, ready? Because we got to go explore that way. And ta-da! All right, so a very exciting day so far. Getting a lot done. I did want to mention about so just like job skills as far as IT goes, and I guess really this applies to life in general. But whenever dealing with an issue or trying to help someone resolve an issue, you need to keep an open mind about a lot of things. First, so I have just kind of like a funny example. I had a end user that, um, uh, called me by the wrong name a couple of times. Called in like direct call instead of going through the ticket system, and like I get it, and I've worked at a few different places with different ticketing systems for IT, and it really depends on the company's policies, but also your willingness to accommodate people. I mean, it's a big trade-off. And I generally say you're going to have a much better experience if you cut through the red tape when possible. Like don't go breaking rules or don't do something that like if your manager came over and saw you doing, like you'd get in trouble. Like definitely don't do that. But and just make it known because I mean, you want to constantly give feedback to your supervisors about how things could work better, like in situations, if that's a thing. I mean, you're going to need to trust your instinct on a lot of this stuff, but on average, when working in a help desk, and every IT person starts at the help desk, or at least most, I should say most, because there are some that bypass it, but like that's just the reality, especially now with competition as much as there is now. Like there are so many tech professionals just getting churned out of these universities, and you got to, put yourself above the rest, and you'll find out pretty quick when you go to apply to jobs. Say you just graduated with a tech degree, or you just finished a tech boot camp, or I mean, it's going to be a lot harder. I mean, I don't even know how much harder if you don't have a formal um, education. Not impossible, mind you, but I mean, either way, you almost are guaranteed to work at the bottom rung of a totem pole, basically. And for those that don't know about totem poles, some of our like Pacific Northwest Native American tribes did these or created these things called totem poles, where they were basically like a comic strip of people's lineage, like, or they had a representation of, I think it was usually their family. So they'd have like, this generation or this person or, and then you'd have like a different animal or creature or entity or like face on the totem pole. Although I'm not an expert on totem poles, but the idea is you start at the bottom and you work your way up, you promote up as you get more experience, more skills, you become a better asset to the company, whatever the case may be. But basic IT, usually you'll have a standard like ticket system or ticket queue, or even just a hotline. I mean, that was something that yeah, that was really annoying at my software developer job is we had a tech hotline. And so at any given moment, you didn't have any time to prepare to pull up things. Like someone would just call in and it was often about like a delivery something. So they'd be a truck driver delivering some goods to a business and, running into issues with the software being like, "Hey, like I need this, this, this." And then you'd have to like search it up through the whatever. I mean, it was getting better and it was definitely better than the start of that company. It was a relatively young company. In fact, I'm sure they're doing great now, from what I've heard a little bit. But anyways, um, I've worked at like the exact opposite, a mega, multinational aerospace company that had like hundreds of thousands of employees, and like same thing. Like they would have, emergencies would come up at all hours of the day, especially since they had factories in different countries, different time zones. So that was to be taken into consideration. And I actually started on the graveyard shift with that one. So I was helping end users in places on the other side of the world where it was nighttime here in FOCO. It was daytime over there. So, anyways, so you just always, and I think that was a really nice piece of insight that helps me understand that I need to give a grain of salt to whoever I'm talking to on the other side of whatever communication I'm using. I mean, whether your company enforces like a strict IT ticket policy where if they don't message you through the ticket queue, then they don't get helped, or maybe they get guided to the ticket queue and then it has to be recorded, and which makes sense, but at the same time, well, a couple of things. If there's an issue, so there's a few situations where you would need to have instant access to all the communication surrounding a particular issue. Like say you're being audited or sued, or there's a lawsuit or some kind of like thing. They could need all of the communications, the correspondence back and forth, so you would need to have access to that. Or it'd be painful and you'd have to like sift through, like say it's a more lax company where you can have some of the stuff in the email. Well, you would still search your email for all things concerned with this issue. So, anyways, a lot to think about, but really it's just relax. Like it's a hard thing to do to just remove yourself from a tech problem, and you definitely can't get influenced by their stress and their anger, because and they'll never have it at you per se, because you're the savior, you're the person that's gonna come and fix this issue. However, if you don't have at least some comforting words or some kick the can down the road words ready, throw some attaboys at them. No, I'm just kidding. Like, um, give them the old reliable, like, well, let's take a look, and at least there, you do take the time. I mean, and you always want to start with info gathering. Say this is more for like phone calls, so you do some info gathering, you check to see, and a lot of times there's a Google search in there. Like I just Google whatever they say the problem is. Doesn't matter if I fixed it a million times, if I just want to, like, I feel like it's kind of a mixture of lazy, but yet at the same time, good practice because as much as I trust my own intuition, a fresh Google search will pull through all of the recent changes. So even if you fix it a certain way before, as much as tech stacks are changing and software services are changing constantly, there might be a better or even a more correct solution. Or maybe your solution is outdated and it doesn't work. So, you know, either way, you could still do it by like how you remember it. Like there's not too dangerous to do it that way. It's just, I don't know. And then I feel like any biases or misunderstandings or flaws in my own logic that are stored in my own head wouldn't conflict with this. It's like solving it fresh from the beginning. And actually, it's funny because like the more I do it in front of people, like I'll notice they do a lot more self-sufficient like IT searching. Because then they just Google it and then they read a little bit about it. They learn how to scan articles and once the process you do it a couple of times, any process can become second nature to people. Like it's really like all humans are designed in a way to where we learn by doing it a couple of times. And this is how I was taught to teach people because I was actually a process instructor trained. How was that? I was TWI job instructor trained. That's the official certification. And so I was a certified job instructor trainer for production processes. Um, and it was a generic thing because with wind turbine blades, and there's a lot of privilege information that I can't divulge, and et cetera, and I wouldn't want to. I mean, but the general gist of it is whatever you do, like tying your shoe, and this is how I taught my kids to tie their shoes. And it took only a couple of times. Like we sat down. I mean, we had kind of put it off for a while, and in all honesty, I was actually out of communication with my family for a little bit. So yeah, court legal stuff. Nobody's perfect, but anyways. Um, so teaching tying shoes. So I got a paper towel roll, an empty paper towel roll, and a shoelace. And what I did is I had my kids sit next to me one at a time because you want to give them, their your undivided attention. And I did the first part. So I put the shoestring down, and then I set the paper towel roll on top of it, and then I just did the first swoop, like where you just take both ends and then you cross them and then you pull it through the hole or rabbit through the hole. I think people have taught it that way, like loop, swoop, and pull. I'm trying to remember. Adam Sandler even teaches it in Big Daddy. Uh, the loop, swoop, and pull, or maybe and SpongeBob even teaches it as well. So like, these shows which are kind of not appropriate for the kids of shoe tying age as much. I don't want to say. I don't know. SpongeBob, it can be risky. So it's still like PG, I would say. Like you'd still want a parent like at least involved watching a few of the episodes. I mean, it is still silly enough. I don't know. I wonder what the actual rating for it is. Watch, it's like G. But anyways, and kids are going to be exposed to stuff. I was exposed to rated M, X, adult, triple X, whatever stuff in first grade. Not by anyone's fault. I broke into something that was supposedly secure. Like kids are worse than unattended kids, I should say. Because, and this was just in a neighborhood, which, as a person now, like, thinking about what I would have to do if I had, say, adult magazines or something, how would I, like, which I don't. I mean, nobody does anymore. We've got internet. So, like, even that, just the technological shift. which isn't even a thing in Dubai, by the way. Places in the Middle East censor out adult content. It's forbidden. It's illegal. So I mean, and that's different cultures, and but it's just funny that. But anyways, the problem arises with protecting kids from sensitive material because I'm not saying it's a good thing that they see any of this. It's illegal, and we don't condone it either. We protect our kids as much as we can, but we also have to be able to explain, be like, all right, you saw some things, and it's a common joke in like, well, adult cartoons, which is funny because like, there's dads and moms out there watching these things. It's like, okay, you know, how do I apply this to my own kids? But um, yeah, and that's why like freedom of speech isn't completely protected. And that's a very important thing to know is like, 'cause some of the stuff that we do and say could be very offensive and like almost like assault like it's an assault, a verbal assault, like, or they feel targeted, especially with projection. Like the idea of the psychological aspect of how we project our insecurities and our ideas and our thoughts on other people and their actions. So and it's unfair, but we're all guilty of doing it. It's just part of like how we're designed. Like we often think, oh no, like, or we overthink things, I guess is another good way to put it. When most of the time, people, ourselves included, we're just like, whew, so if I get through the day without looking like a complete fool in front of somebody, like, can I adult properly? Or if you're a kid, like, I just want to get through school and do a good job and not get hassled and like, it's, or maybe there's incentives too, because I mean, for the brief bit that I was learning kung fu, I remember they rewarded good grades with like discounts on weapons and clothing, like, which is awesome for every little boy, like, or every, and some little girls too. Not trying to do the gender thing, like, but um, also, hey, I believe we have the map explored. Although, what is this? This almost looks. I can't tell if it's ocean, but we're gonna go out here anyway, just make sure. Because before I make copies of this map, I do not want, especially if we lose the texture pack, because then it goes back to where it's very easy to see when you've missed a spot on the map, whereas here, I could be questioning it, but I don't know. Also, or yeah, we could go ahead and copy it here. This is our original base, I think origin about. No, actually, wait, before I do that, let's make a run down here. Get all of this border for sure. So, yeah, look at that. That's amazing. And that's really close to, actually, wow, I didn't realize how close that desert base that I was just messing around in. There's a little village, but, or never mind. It's right there. It's just across the harbor from origin. That's awesome. And this is the other side of that big mountain thing that I pointed out earlier. All right, anyways, we're good. Let's go back. Hold on. So, anyways, just I think if somebody had told me that when I was getting my tech degree, like this is what you can expect when you get a job. And we tried to do that in the ACM, the Association for Computing Machinery, where we would introduce actual companies. We'd have them come in and do a presentation. One of my favorite was Intel. This lady, which actually was the mom of one of my classmates, real nice lady. She brought in a bunch of different microchips and like the different sizes, like ancient ones, um, from like the 70s or 80s, I want to say. And like in Intel, it's been around, done a lot of advances, like huge in processing. So yeah, and we have an Intel location. I don't know what, I think it's a bunch of offices, honestly. I don't know if it's a production plant. Because I want to say, like, I know an engineer that works there. Not personally, like, I know of. I mean, I don't really, I rub shoulders with a lot of people, but I don't actually personally engage, talk with, or especially now that I'm not part of the ACM. I was only in that, sorry, for 1 year. Anyways, a great thing to get involved in, though. Like, I mean, if every college, I keep meaning to check with CSU and see if they still have one going. And even just like maybe even go do a presentation there for the study abroad school, like, doing IT. Although we're not really hiring. I mean, if we are, that means that I'm probably on my way out. So it's a very small IT team. I'm just kidding. Like, I hope we're never hiring, like, at least not in the next decade or 15 years. And if the only other thing is if they win the lottery or they promote up, I think. Anyways. But you need to be prepared for that. I've been laid off a couple of times. One was more my performance, like that one, I'll own that. Another one was just they routinely did. Oh, that's why. I was like, what is this? Sorry. That's how ghetto this place is. I had to add extra blocks. Should wait. Yeah, couldn't I just do that? That even makes more sense. It aligns with the wall, didn't it? Yeah. For that matter, bada bing. Now it doesn't even look weird like it. Sorry. It's and we got to be okay with that. You can always come back and fix your stuff. Also, I had an item storage room and enchanting setup all like ready to go here, but honestly, this isn't my favorite place to hang out. Like it's neat, but it's a small island, so I haven't really spent a lot of time developing it. I have, however, the other side of it, and even that. Well, actually, to show you how ghetto this is, I mean, I guess it is pretty nice up there, but you know, unless I put another walkway up there, which I could, to go up here. You got all these note blocks, floating note blocks, like a control center station, with like all the different job blocks. We've got, hmm. Oh, we have maps. Are those locators? Oh, they are. I'm taking those. All right, you can have some rocks. Okay, well, all right. Let's listen to the music while we do this. Okay, that is kind of annoying. I mean, you already have this really beautiful music going on. Okay, and enough of that. It's hard to see. Oh, there we go. I don't know. I think the piglin dubstep, or the pig step, I think it's called, is probably the best one, but or the only really good one. There's a couple discs that are just like creepy zombie music. Okay, I think these are just. There we go. Okay, anyways. So left trigger sets it up one note higher, and then the right trigger plays that note. That is pretty cool. I might want to recreate that in all my bases, have like a little music area. So this place isn't bad, but for some reason I don't know, bad juju, because I died a lot here. I don't know, or there's just not a lot going on. And I won't be able to copy the books until I sign them, and that basically seals them. You can't edit the book in Quill after you've signed it. So we'll keep filling these out. They'll be like little journals, and then maybe they'll be different iterations. Like we'll only have a few pages. I don't know. As long as I'm just careful and I don't die. But I was kind of laughing at this. This is my furnace setup here. I spent more time sprucing up that random village that I inhabited for a little bit to or to harvest the, oh, I'll take that. But all the iron. Yeah, let's see, we got, I think this is the creepy, like, zombie. You really don't want coral in your hotbar, because if you accidentally place it, it's, like, cursed. It's like watching The Ring, like, you got 7 days and then a zombie comes after you. Anyways, really boring. I'll actually put that up, leave that up here. So, and yeah, more storage. seeing if there's anything I could use, because since I don't really spend a lot of time here. Oh, decent amount of sand. Oh, so never mind. I guess this furnace setup is a little better. Alright, well, color me proven wrong. So, I don't know. In fact, we're getting close to the end of this one. Or, no, 20 minutes. Never mind. Ugh. So even if you don't do like the ACM, but even like it was very non-exclusive. I mean, all you really had to do is set some time aside, and there was announcements. There was like notifications on the whiteboard. So if you went into the or in the computer lab, so if you were working on homework, you'd see like an announcement like ACM meeting tonight, or and something like that. And it even I think it would often usually say, and you get emails too. But that depends on how well they're set up with their email, how comfortable they are with checking it, or how accessible that is. Also, wait a minute. Hmm, trying to think. We made one copy of the locator map. I mean, like I was just saying, we don't go here a lot, so we need. Hmm. Actually, I'm gonna look that up real quick. Like Bedrock, how to mark on a locator map. Because let's see here. Come on. Sorry, I gotta find a tab. There we go. Um, Bedrock mark locator map. How do I set a marker on a map in Bedrock? There we go. I've tried clicking the banner, but it doesn't seem to work. Alright, this is a Reddit. Let's continue. Chrome. Map markers is currently a Java-only feature. As Google said, you can't make markers with banners on Bedrock yet. A workaround is to copy the map you want marker and place it on an item frame of the location you want to have as marker. Assuming the map is a locator map, it will have an icon where each copy is. Okay. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're doing. So, all right. And I say that because, well, let's see. Let's go ahead and put one in my hand. So that base that we made is uh, like at the south tip of that island of desert of sand. So we could put, but that's not going to be like an actual nether rail hub. Whereas I think the base further south in the jungle area, yeah. So also my other map. Let's see. Ah. So that does have one there. So let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's take our boat. Let's go over there and let's at least set the map. I wonder what's faster. Just have like a waterway all the way through. I mean, I don't, but you can imagine if I did. No, no, you can't. That's what I need to do. I need to put together. Hold on. Musings. Let's see. All people are just trying to live the pitch life. Movie list. Okay. Oops. Monty Python. Dash all. Adam Sandler. And he was actually in Denver not too long ago. but I can't really afford tickets just yet. I, Sandler, and really, like there is a certain few I'd weigh as more important or less important, but um, we'll just say all for this because like that adds a comical way to basically, I mean, for people like single dads, you know, family stuff, kids stuff, work stuff, sports stuff. I mean, education stuff, school stuff. Yeah, all of it. Just like how to treat people, and shortcuts, especially in business stuff. And by shortcut, I mean a lot of what. Oh, anyways, we don't have to go in there. So the movie list, all that, Fight Club, because that's how bad it can get if things aren't addressed. So Colorado, let's see, Killdozer for Colorado. For CO. CO is short for Colorado. Okay. And the story behind that, so Fight Club is a movie about, I don't want to do any spoilers, but it's where people fight back against the system, like, the way of life, whatever, capitalism, I guess. And then we had the Killdozer in Colorado, which is where someone got wronged, or maybe not even like, I don't know, there was court activity, and a business owner tried to complain about another business that was blocking their entryway or something like that, and the courts ruled against them. I don't remember the whole story, but I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Is just this customer was experiencing decreased sales, and whether or not that was because of the access, who knows? Like, I like to think that people would, be like, "Hey, I've noticed a drop in sales." I think it's about, or it could just be an implied, projected. I don't know. Either way, well, it's not good if you can't see the business. I mean, that you lose some advertising that way. But regardless, he built a tank out of a bulldozer and he ran over a lot of stuff, caused a lot of damage, and then took his own life. Like, so he couldn't get arrested for what he'd done. I don't think he killed anybody, but he destroyed a lot of stuff, a lot. And like, so, anyways, Monty Python though, we need to be able to laugh at ourselves, at other people, but appropriately, not like hurtfully. I mean, and there is a big line between that. And that's what, a lot of youngsters have to go through. I remember myself included when I used to tell jokes. I'd tell these really outrageous, racist, or offensive jokes, and then it's like, oh, and all it took was one person of the offended party to be a listener to that. Then it's like, oh, well, that's not fun anymore. Like, it's funny when it's just a concept, but then it's like, oh, wait, that could really, and then you put yourself in their shoes, you feel some empathy for that, and then the jokes kind of get a little less, they're still said, and it's still going to happen, but it's not like we can be perfect and protect everyone from everything and their level or their scope of what they can perceive, what they can observe, like their fragility versus their, not really fragility because that implies that they're lesser of a person, but people that are more exposed or a little more jaded to a lot of these things. That's why America, I mean, I don't know. I think that's one of the other big divides between China, Russia, and America is China and Russia are still very censored. America's very liberal with our media, almost too liberal in some points. Like, I mean, because now that's one of the big arguments for politics. In fact, let's go ahead and be done with that for now. Very funny movies and a very not so funny concept, but in a not so funny movie. Interesting. Great movie. Brad Pitt's in that and Edward Norton. But yeah, it's a great movie. But, huh, and a random crafting bench. And that's just for a well rounded education. Like, and I think the more we make these things available, what we need to do, yeah, we need to have like, I wonder how strong it is HBO in like India, or I know they have Bollywood, but just the ability to communicate ideas like that. And Bollywood is a great example of how India is catching up to Hollywood. I mean, being able to transmit ideas and thoughts and entertainment, in such a way. So, anyways, I shall continue on. Maybe I'll finish up doing this tonight after I get done with work. So, or no, that's right, I got the kiddos. So, this weekend I'll do some more, but we'll continue with when login issues strike, and we'll do some more, yeah, career training stuff. Because I love giving advice about the tech industry. Like, I mean, that was always a good part of, or a fun and rewarding part of ACM because Like people would ask us, be like, "Oh, hey, how was this meeting with so and so?" Especially Google, whenever Google would come and talk, or Amazon. So, or actually, no, I don't think Amazon did, but like we talked about it. Anyways, just being helpful with career stuff because it's scary out there. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, and then you gotta have a lot of patience. So, all right, ta ta for now. I will see you all in the next one.